There are only two ways of living. One is to live authentically, or two is to live aesthetically. To live aesthetically is to live by chasing the next thing. This would put us in a perpetual state of desire as we seek out novel experiences and pleasures. It's a form of hedonism that pursues pleasure maximization. However, to live authentically is to be bound by one's duty, serve others above all else, know one's life purpose, be focused and disciplined. These are the only two paths that we can take, so whichever one we choose will determine our life's satisfaction level. Many of us desire new forms of pleasure and experiences in our lives because that is what excites us. It is what brings us momentary joy before the novelty runs out, and we seek an even greater pleasure and experiences to satisfy our craving. On the outside, our lives will look incredible or aesthetic because we constantly project ourselves to new situations that we believe will inspire envy from our friends and peers. However, deep down, the cycle of one desire fulfilled will lead to a greater desire, which is essentially the root cause of our suffering. According to Schopenhauer, our desires are unlimited, and even if we attain the object of our desires, it may not live up to our expectations, or it will give birth to new desires, inevitably leading to despair. To live aesthetically is to put off the future for temporary satisfaction, since we are constantly trying to prove to others that we are living our best life. This never-ending chase for the next big experience, pleasure and material is an unsustainable way of living that will lead to dire consequences that many will be unable to afford to pay. The thing with aesthetically living is that it is a never-ending cycle. There will never be enough things to satisfy our desires, as our desire is a bottomless pit that could never be filled. Our life, then, will be one that is on a constant lookout to satisfy our craving for the aesthetic, like a carrot at the end of a stick. It's human nature for us to desire an aesthetic life, because humans are naturally vainglorious creatures, so we always seek to dominate others and to be better than others. But there is a better way of life. To live authentically is to live in accordance with our duty. But what is our duty? That is a question that we must look deep inside ourselves to find. No one will be able to help us with such a task. No teacher, nor religious dogma, nor political leaders can lend us a helping hand on this quest to find our life's purpose. That is to say, we are condemned to be free, but this freedom allows for a chance of self-exploration. We are born without inherent purpose, but it's part of our life duty to find such purpose. Artists find their purpose through the creation of art. A baker finds their purpose by rising early in the morning to bake. A writer finds their purpose through their books, and an emperor finds their purpose through serving their citizens. Each of our life's purposes is unique, so no one person's life will be the same as others. To achieve our life's purpose and live authentically requires sacrifices. It requires hard work. Unlike the aesthetic way of life, this path will be filled with pain, suffering, self-doubt, and loneliness. These are the prices we have to pay for lasting happiness. Only by paying such a hefty price can we transcend the artificial way of life in exchange for true beauty that could never be robbed or taken away from us. However, the pain of self-discipline is much more attractive than the pain of regret. By deliberately choosing the path of discomfort and self-discipline, we will strengthen our body and mind. Over time, the act of doing the uncomfortable things that push us toward our life's purpose will become second nature to us. If the path toward authentic living is filled with suffering, why must we seek out authentic living when the aesthetic way of life seems to be filled with excitement? Unlike the aesthetic, the path toward authentic living is one that will bring us lasting fulfillment instead of temporary satisfaction that will lead us toward the path of perpetual suffering. Our work will no longer feel like work because it aligns with our life's purpose. We will no longer struggle to get out of bed or make excuses because we know that we are closer to attaining our authentic selves. Finally, authentic living means detachment. Detachment from the fruit of our labor, detachment from the material world, and detachment from worldly things such as glory and fame. To be authentic means that we don't actively seek worldly things because it is a form of desire, and desire is a trap that will enslave us for all of our existence. We should only value things that are important to us, such as family, friends, health, and our purposes. Regard all things that do not align with our values and purposes as temptations. Only then can we escape its grip. Hence, we will live for something that is greater than worldly things and serve a higher purpose beyond ourselves and our desires. It is our duty as human beings to live in accordance with our purposes and values. Only by staying true to ourselves and rejecting all external pressure can we realize our authentic self. Social media has deceived all of us. It has tempted us to chase finite experiences and pleasures because that is what everyone else is doing, so we too must seek it. However, that desire to obtain more things and novel experiences will not fill the void in our existence. Life is inherently meaningless, but that does not mean that we have to distract ourselves to avoid the question of what is our purpose in life. We must start looking deeper than the superficial that are out there. There is no reason for us to constantly chase new experiences one after another, especially if it is merely for the sake of looking good. We should start living authentically by looking deep inside ourselves to find meaning within our existence and work toward it every day without desire or motive. We must decide between being who we truly are or not to be who we truly are. To be or not to be, only death is certain, but we have the luxury of choosing what our legacy will be after we leave this world.